throw down. Heartbeats racing, can't slow down. Feel the tension, feel the heat.
Hey guys, welcome in, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Wrestling with Emotions podcast. It is Thursday, August 21st, and this is not the typical day that I would typically send, record, distribute a podcast, but I am just annoyed enough to have the conversation. So, as you can see from the title of this episode, is this the end? I am honestly at the end of my rope when it comes to WWE. This is not a tribalistic podcast. I recognize when things are great for both companies. I grew up a WWF fan, transitioned into the WWE. Oh, hey, yeah. That's called singing. But I transitioned into WWE, rode that out, and then got out of it, and then got back into it, and then discovered AEW, and then discovered New Japan, then discovered all these other companies. So, my point is, I like wrestling. I love it. I ebb and flow depending upon the quality of the product, but that's natural, and we'll get into that a little bit as well. My problem with the WWE, and I think I mentioned this the last episode I recorded, is that there is a sense of entitlement is not the wrong word, or is not the right word. I don't think. But there is a sense of arrogance. Arrogance is the right word. That the average everyday fan is just going to suck it up and come along for the ride, right? Let me paint a picture of the WWE network that came out, God, it feels like forever ago. Over a decade. Awesome. It was not without its own flaws. For $9.99 a month, you got everything. And there are bright sides to this, what I'm going to talk about today too, I think, and maybe some alternatives. But essentially, if you followed along, or if you've been following along in the news for this, ESPN is launching its own standalone app. I think it actually went live today. And with that, they announced the partnership with WWE, how all the premium live events will be moving from Peacock, what was supposed to be 2026, over to their platform. And unless you are working or, unless you are currently paying for a provider that allows you full ESPN access, you would have to shell out an additional $29.99, I believe, to access that app in order to watch all the PLEs every single month that WWE has. So, for myself, who has YouTube TV, and I don't plan on changing that, I will be unable to watch the premium live events unless I subscribe to the ESPN app. Now, fast forward to yesterday, I believe, they announced that the Clash in Paris is going to be the final WWE PLE on the Peacock network, and that moving forward, everything else will be on ESPN right away. So, to spare you some of the details, essentially, when we were talking about all the different events that, when we were looking back at last month, when we had All In, and all the WWE pay-per-views or PLEs that were counter-programming that AEW event, those were essentially stacking the deck in order to allow WWE to also get out of their Peacock deal. Not get out, but to fulfill their deal early. They were signed up for a certain amount of PLEs per year. And if you're new to this, PLE is just a fancy way of saying pay-per-view. It's just they just want to say pay-per-view. But you were getting these pay-per-views on the Peacock network. They're fast-tracking that, so now the next event that will take place next week, which will also counter-program AEW, which is another reason why I'm just at my wit's end with this shit, is WrestlePalooza, which will take place in Indianapolis, which will also obviously bring Pat McAfee back into the fold, which I don't think anybody even really cares about. But It is just ridiculous. So I canceled Peacock. Canceled Peacock right away. I can always restart it. It's super simple through the app. Because I'm like, well, what am I going to need this for? I was only really holding on to the WWE Network for really two things. And the second thing is abroad. One was the monthly pay-per-views, PLEs. And then two was the back catalog of all the stuff that I grew up with watching. Because they have the rights, obviously, to ECW, WCW, all those early programs. They have everything you could watch on the site, basically. And then the bunch of different documentaries and stuff that they have out. Slowly and steadily over the last several months, though, WWE has been adding content to YouTube in the form of, full-blown pay-per-views from decades ago. So, in my estimation, I should hopefully be able to watch, SummerSlam 89, for example, or WrestleMania 6. A lot of these I own on DVD or VHS. I don't know why I laugh like that. I know it was creepy and weird. But it's late, and I don't give a shit. Now, I felt good because I could still watch those, and I have YouTube, and YouTube is free, no matter, even without the YouTube TV subscription that I have. But I'll be able to watch those when I want to, essentially, and I can find those, and that's fine. And they're adding more and more content. I think there's a WCW Vault channel. They're called WWE Vault, but they have WCW Vault, and I believe they may already have it up, or it was a rumor that they were getting an ECW Vault. And I think the goal is for them to have content on any platform imaginable, so that anybody can access it and discover it for the first time or the 1,000th time. So that's where I kind of felt good. Okay, I'll get rid of Peacock. Yes, I'm going to lose out on the PLEs. At most, I can do a month to month on the real core 4 pay-per-views that actually matter. And then there are some fun ones in between, like Money in the Bank, that I would possibly shell out money for. Now, here's the part that continues to infuriate me. If you are, and here's the thing too, on top of this, I am not crying poor on any of this. I'm in a fortunate situation where I can, if I really wanted to, afford all of these different subscriptions that you're going to need in order to watch WWE and to continue to follow the product. You need some type of cable service that's going to allow you to watch Fox and USA on a weekly basis. No, am I right on that? No, sorry, not Fox. You're going to need a service that allows you to watch USA. Yeah, I think I am right. If you want to continue to follow WWE, you're going to need some type of cable service. Let's just keep it that way. You're going to need now, you still will need the Peacock network. Because the thing that came out yesterday after I canceled my subscription is that, and I think this is more a concession versus like bad ratings, because I don't remember ratings ever being really a bad issue for this. I think the only thing that was bad was the competition when they tried to go up against AEW, and they fell flat on their face, which was awesome. But the NBC Saturday night's main event, that is no longer going to be broadcast live on NBC. It'll be relegated to the Peacock network. It will still be live. I mean, the good part about this too is you'll be able to forego all the commercial breaks and things like that. I'm sure they'll still have commercials on there, because you can't watch WWE without another commercial getting thrown down your face, even when you're watching the matches themselves. So you'll need Peacock if you want to continue to watch the occasional Saturday night main event when they pop that out. You're going to need the ESPN if you want to watch the monthly PLEs. You're going to need some type of cable service, like I mentioned. We're talking, I think, a conservative estimate, if you found the cheapest options, I believe from what I saw, is just a little bit shy of $55 a month. Now again, if you're one of the fortunate individuals that does have a cable service that allows you to forego the ESPN app and gives you access, I mean, you're in you're golden. I mean, you're in a great spot. This doesn't affect you at all. It may not affect maybe it doesn't affect a ton of people. But I know, like for myself, I can't justify the cost on a monthly basis specifically for the ESPN app. Number one, I wouldn't be buying it for anything else on ESPN other than the WWE. I don't care about any of their other content. I don't watch any of their other shows. Unless they have Sunday Night Baseball, that's about it. I don't watch SportsCenter anymore. I don't watch any of the talking heads that are just shouting at each other and spitting nonsense about bullshit and things that they are just pushing their agenda on. And that's a whole nother thing to talk about too at some point. But I would just be watching it for WWE. So of course, right away, what do? WWE, with the influence that they have, and it makes complete sense. I mean, I can't say it doesn't make any sense. All AEW mentions completely removed from their website. I mean, this is how petty and how dumb WWE is. They don't understand that the competition drives success. And I hope they learn a lesson from a financial standpoint. When people don't spend the $29.99 a month to join the ESPN side, when they continue, and this is not a shot at the talent. Not a shot at the talent at all. But when they continue to put out mediocre content and mediocre events and expect you to come back week in, week out with your fucking hand out, asking for more, to see the same match, the same style finish, the same Seth Rollins promo, the same Seth Rollins finish to the match to finish the show out. Everything is cookie cutter, week to week, lazy writing. WWE is now more focused on moments. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Moments than stories. The greatest example is the bullshit heel turn that they did for John Cena. That was cool in the moment. Had no payoff, no fleshed out story, and completely bombed. And that is not just my opinion. That is John Cena's opinion as well. This is universal. One of the worst heel face turns. People were loving it in the beginning, the potential that it had, because you had The Rock involved. I won't even mention Travis Scott's name in this, but you had The Rock involved, right? This was going to be awesome, and it bombed. So hopefully what this means is, hopefully they step up month to month on their content and the quality of their content. Because I still want to watch. I still want to care. But it is tough, man. It is tough. They've been a public company for as long as since I was in high school. I remember being in a class, I forget what class it was, but we had the opportunity to buy stocks. I don't even think we were really buying stocks. It was like some program that allowed us to track and buy it fake or something. And we bought WWE stock. It had just come out. WWF at the time, I believe. So I've been a fan for a long time. And I don't want to be treated like I'll just fucking watch and listen to whatever they put out just because I'm a blind fan. And again, this has nothing to do with the talent. They have some of the best talent in the business. But man, it is disappointing as a fan to just be told, just the way that Nick Khan essentially said, our fans will follow us. With these incredible price jumps. And not to mention, I just mentioned you will have to keep Peacock, right? And they're raising the price of that service as well, the minimum tier. So that's going up another, $4 or $5 for you to keep that service, just to watch the occasional Saturday night main event. Now I know, and maybe some people do it this way too. If you're not watching month to month, like I said, you can kind of pick and choose when you want to get involved and when you don't. So you don't have to spend an enormous amount of money over the entire year. You can cherry pick the events that you want to watch and do it that way. Because the reality is, and I was telling somebody this the other day, is if you miss a pay-per-view or a PLE, whatever, for WWE, it's okay. Because they're going to spend an enormous amount of time on Monday Night Raw reliving it. Same thing for SmackDown. It's like you were there the entire time and you're getting the highlights. And then you can go back and watch it if you really do want to. If you really determine that it was can't miss. So I am busted. I am beyond frustrated because of, just like I said, the arrogance of thinking like the fans should swallow this, absorb the cost, keep jumping on more and more platforms. God, man, cutting. This is going. I know how this is going to sound. Before I even say it, I know how it's going to sound. Hook me back up to a physical fucking cable in the wall, dude. Because we were all cutting the cable and going onto cable internet. Or cable TV, or internet TV. We started with the PlayStation Network, which was awesome. Basically looks and feels just like YouTube TV. We were doing that because it was supposedly supposed to be a cost savings. We got duped. And if anybody doesn't realize that now, you got duped, dude. You had all these cutting the cable things that forced all these networks to build apps. And if you want to get in on their app and you want to be able to watch all their services, you have to pay additional fees for those apps. And now Disney has basically taken over almost everything too. They're absorbing Hulu. There's a lot of stuff that's just like frustrating because from a financial standpoint, everybody's got their hand in your damn pocket. So it's just disappointing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're as frustrated as I am, maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, man, it just bothers me. And then especially like the counter programming to AEW. Like you think you're some king shit just because you have the highest production value and video quality, etc., and the distribution of your product. It doesn't make it better. I'm sorry. Hundreds of sponsors littered all over the ring and every single turnbuckle in between doesn't make your product better. Every single table that you pull out from underneath the apron that has the name Slim Jim on it doesn't make your product better. Every one-trick pony superstar that you pull out of the crowd from a celebrity standpoint that's on Netflix and has a new show coming out doesn't make your product better. And obviously celebrity appearances are throughout wrestling, so I'm not just calling out celebrity appearances. I'm just saying everything is corporate and fine-tuned and waiting for that next thing to hit on Netflix and have some type of tie-in to TV, which is incredibly frustrating as a fan, because if you're smart, you know that they're playing you for a fool, and just count up the amount of TV time that you're watching in comparison to the amount of ads you're getting. And then you let me know who is the fool here. But speaking of quality, and I'll ride or die with this dude, AEW. I fucking love this company, man. And it hasn't been without its problems. Last year, honestly, was a fucking shit show. From the time CM Punk left to right around the time they started to kind of get like the timeless Tony Storm character rolling. It was tough. And there was even some weeks, too, where it was really tough to watch and not exciting. But they put on consistent... no matter what happened on TV that week, no matter what they were selling you from a story standpoint, every pay-per-view that they put out has been awesome. There's been a couple where they were still great recently, within the last year, that you could say, hey, that was still a really great pay-per-view. Maybe I don't agree with some of the order of the matches in terms of what was like the main event. But man, I'm excited about it. This Sunday, if you're not familiar, is AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. This is going to be great for New Japan. I don't think they're doing too great. So they could use a little bit of a boost. What an awesome crowd the other night for Dynamite as well. I believe they were in Scotland. Just amazing arena turnout. I don't know the total attendance, but it was probably one of the largest ones they've had for an AEW show in quite some time on a weekly show. But you got a great full card here. I'm not going to go through all the... I'm not going to go into super detail on all these, but I will give you a quick rundown of the card. And maybe just a couple of projections in terms of like what I think is going to happen. But you're going to get a lot of fan favorite matches, and you're going to get some stuff where they're building up from a story standpoint that I think is going to be cool. So let me start off with some simple stuff, because I don't know the order of these, obviously. But if you followed last week, we do have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage back together. They are going to team up for the first time in, God, I don't even know how long, since obviously the WWF days. And they're going to face off against Kip Sabian and the newly returned Killswitch, who came back on Wednesday night. That's a tag team match. I see, obviously, Christian Cage and Adam going over. The next month is going to be All Out in, I believe it's in Toronto, or it's at least in Canada. And Edge is already on the poster for it. So I imagine that'll be a tag team championship match in their home country. Another match, Kyle Fletcher versus Takahashi. This is a singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. Then you got Kazuchika Okada. This is going to be a banger. Kazuchika Okada versus Swerve Strickland. This is a singles match. No shit. It's for the AEW Unified Championship. I think that's going to be great. They've done some really good work together, and both of these guys are obviously great independently, but Swerve, anybody you put him with, like, that's getting elevated no matter who it is. So that's going to be an exciting one. Next, you have the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin versus FTR, versus Brodito, which is Brody King and Bandito. Great to see Brody King getting more and more time on both TV and now pay-per-view. It's a 3-way tag team elimination match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Then you have Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor versus Persephone versus Bozilla. I don't know, or I can't even picture those last two women. It's a 4-way match for the AWT TBS Championship. I imagine they're New Japan stars, but I am not familiar. Next one, looking forward to this very much. As usual, Timeless Tony Storm versus Athena. This is for the AEW World's Women's Championship. Women's World Championship, sorry. Then I'll skip over one real quick and I'll come back to it. Then you got Zack Sabre Jr. This is going to be a cool one. Versus Nigel McGuinness. This is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. is, of course, the champion of New Japan. I don't know where this one came from out of nowhere, but very exciting when that poster popped up for this. I don't know if there was a backstory or something maybe that I missed on like a Collision. But this should be fun as well. And then one that was announced in pieces and then just popped up on TV with the final graphic. This is going to be awesome. It's a lights out steel cage match. Will Ospreay started the show off on Dynamite last night talking about how this match is unsanctioned, basically because I don't know if it's obviously in kayfabe, but he was not medically cleared to participate in this match, but he's going to do it knowing that he will eventually require some type of what he alluded to as neck surgery. But you got Darby Allin teaming up with Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers, Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. I'm so excited that Kenny Omega's back. I was nervous by the report that came out of when he just faced Okada that he was injured again. But then I didn't really hear much after that, so great to see that he's going to be in this match. And of course he comes back for one of the more safe matches, right? And then they're going up against the Death Riders, Moxley, Claudio, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. Surprising, I guess the Gabe Kidd gives the New Japan flair to it, because I was going to say you're not even going to get I'm sure his little ass will probably pop in here too, but you're not even going to get any Wheeler Yuta action. Did I mention him on any other matches? Surprising he's not getting any action here, but of course they'll give it to Gabe Kidd because he is the New Japan guy. So this should be a really great night, and then of course it's headlined by the championship singles match for the AEW World's Men's Championship. Now where a title can change hands via countout or disqualification, you have Adam Page against MJF. I don't know about all the other matches, but if Hangman loses this, what a jip. What a terrible payoff. And I think that's why they added some of these stipulations. To maybe set up another future match between them, because I think he pulled off the pulling back the contract as well for that championship match. So he'll still have that in pocket. So I think he will lose this match. I think adding that stipulation and then pulling back that contract piece, automatically as a fan, I think, okay, well, of course Adam Page is going to win this, because why would MJF still keep the contract for a title match that he doesn't need? So interested to see what they do there. But it should be a great Saturday, or Sunday rather, I'm sorry. And then keep in mind, this is taking place overseas. I think it's at the London O2. So what that means for us is we get an earlier start. That's 10 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 p.m. on the East. Not going to lie, I'm kind of excited to have a nice little afternoon watching wrestling. And they always put on, like I said, a really great show. So, God, man, sorry for coming out hot on this one. But like I said, let me know your thoughts. Again, I want it all to be great. I want WWE to be great. I want AEW to continue to be great. TNT's on the rise. You have all these other promotions out there that are able to benefit from competition and options. So that's why it pisses me off when WWE tries to counter program or interfere with the potential success of another company. It makes absolutely no sense. Their product is continuously watered down when they are the only game in town. Proven fact. Anyways, you guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and like, please. We are on YouTube. If you're listening to this on YouTube, thank you. But yeah, I would really appreciate if you guys can get on board. And I do promise to have some more videos coming up pretty soon. I have a couple things that I'm trying to work through from a timing and scheduling standpoint. And then we're going to get some things moving forward pretty quickly. So enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks for listening. Wrestle on. Let me know if you think that's a great closing. Wrestle on. Like Ramble On from Led Zeppelin. Wrestle on. All right, see ya.
Out in the ring where we throw down, heartbeats racing, can't slow down. Feel the tension, feel the heat, emotions hitting on repeat. Wrestling win with our inner fight. In the spotlight every night. Voices shout and bodies clash. In this world emotions crash. Tangled up in thoughts we spin, in the chaos we begin, finding strength that's deep inside, facing fears we cannot hide. Wrestling win with our inner fight. In the spotlight every night. Voices shout and bodies clash. In this world emotions crash. Every grapple, every hold tells a story to be told. Raw and real and full of fire, pushing through the darkest mire. Wrestling with our inner fight. In the spotlight every night. Voices shout and bodies clash. In this world emotions crash.